the air. Let's hit on our last couple things, and somebody that you could see falling. Is there a player, because we see obviously people's board all over the place, just as Sean was talking about. Is there a player that you're kind of seeing the writing on the wall, like, hey, this guy could fall, whether the Grizzlies go get him or not? Is there somebody you're seeing already there that, hey, this guy is starting to trend in the wrong direction? Like I guess the other Thompson twin, looking at your big board, you have him lower than other people have him. Is that, is he a player, or is another guy that you're looking at that could actually fall in this draft?
Yeah, I'll end up moving the Thompson twin up just from just the intel that I've heard. There are some teams now that are torn between which one would they rather take between Amin and Asar.
Wow.
Amin is traditional. I guess most people have him as the clear-cut better twin of the two. But I was actually at OTE last Friday and just watching him work out. There's not much of a difference, but Asar was the two-time MVP of Overtime Elite. He's considered maybe the better defender, maybe not as good of an athlete, but Amin is like a 1% athlete, and Asar may be 4%. But there is a chance that Asar could end up going higher than Amin. So just based off of the intel, I'll definitely move him up when I do an updated board. Now, as far as guys falling, what's tough is that I think in this draft, maybe 15 through 30 is fluid. If a guy like Jet Howard goes 15, I wouldn't be surprised at all. If he goes 25, it wouldn't surprise me. If he falls to 30, it wouldn't surprise me. But I do think somebody is going to fall. One, because the kid out of France, Victor Wembanyama's teammate, Bilal Coulibaly, is moving fast. I mean, his trajectory over the last 18 months has been crazy. He's a guy that was just playing in their under 21 league at the beginning of the year, looked absolutely lost in the showcase game between Wembanyama and Scoot. Most people don't even remember him getting time in that game. And then they had a few injuries and he was forced to play. And then he's just been, playing lights out, had 16 points in the closeout game as his team they advanced to the French League finals. And you just don't see, and especially in Europe, a team that has two teenagers playing a huge role,
right,
getting to the finals. So I think that has helped him out. And it's going to be a risk because he's not going to be available for any workouts for teams, simply because their finals start on June 10th. Even if they get swept, there's going to be a small window between the end of their season and the draft. So teams are going to have to draft him just based off of what they've seen and doing their homework and research, not really getting a chance to know him. I think he's a big riser. I think a guy like Max Lewis could rise, but Max Lewis could be available late in the first round. He's a guy that I had a chance to watch work out live in Chicago. The interesting thing for me is Bobby Clinton. He has a guarantee somewhere. Somebody shut him down. He didn't do the combine. And there's been like 4 teams, like people are trying to guess which team. And actually the Grizzlies are one of the teams that has come up as the team that possibly gave him a guarantee. The others are Indiana, and that's because they have 3 picks. Utah, they have 3 first-round picks. And then just Oklahoma City because, that just sounds like a Sam Presti thing to do. Right. But the Thunder, unless they trade up, they have pick 12, which I don't think he'd have a guarantee at 12. And then their next pick is at 37. And I don't know if it's smart to not go through the process to be the 37th pick, especially when he could rise. So it's from my knowledge, it's a lot of people are guessing it's either Memphis, because Memphis has, if they've just done some unconventional things in past drafts, whether it's move up or whatever. So Memphis, Indiana, or Utah are the teams that a lot of agents are guessing is the team that gave Bobby Clinton a promise.
Wow. Sean, what do you have?
Clinton makes sense. I know that I believe that KOC, had him moving up his draft board and, had him going to the Grizzlies here recently. And it makes sense because I believe, with his size, he can, kind of play that up from the wing. He could be a big plus a wing instead of, a guard plus a wing and things like that. But speaking of that, Rafael, the Grizzlies have had this search for a wing. They went with, I talked with you the night that we picked Zaire Williams back in 2021, and we've since picked David Roddy and Jake LaRavia. Shot quality was a big thing that Zach Kleiman pointed out after last year's draft. Mm-hmm. But when you look at there being so many of these interchangeable wings, what is one or two, for lack of a better way of putting it, statistical things that stand out? Or what are one or two skills to you when you've got this group of 10 to 15 wings, late first round, early second round projection? What are one or two skills that really stand out to you that make you say, hey, this guy stands out among a large group of peers that play the same position?
I mean, for me, it's a really simple answer, especially when I look at it through a Memphis Grizzlies lens. You have your franchise guy in Ja Morant. Mm-hmm. You've got your secondary guy and Jaren Jackson Jr. So now you just need the complementary pieces to make life easier for them. So for me, that number is 3-point shooting percentage. Who is the best floor spacer that makes it difficult for you to leave your man in a corner to help out on Ja? And I mean, Luke Kennard was great for Memphis this year. So if you can get another knockdown shooter that can be on the opposite wing as Kennard, I mean, Ja's already phenomenal at getting to the lane. Now it's even easier because teams have to pick their poison. So for me, it's the 3-point shooting, and then maybe length. You want some guys that can defend. I mean, we've seen in the playoffs how valuable guys are that can defend up and down the switch and have some size. So those are the two things that stand out to me.